Right, well, good morning, LT. Let's go ahead and start with a T-shirt. It says "San Diego Proud." Why was there a reason why, special reason why you had to make sure that was on this T-shirt today?
I mean, we're in San Diego, and this event has taken place in San Diego, and quite simply, that's why we continue to do things in the community in San Diego, like I said I would, and that's the reason for it.
How important is it for you to want people to know that? Because I know you've taken quite a bit of backlash since you announced that you were joining the Chargers as a special assistant to Dean Spanos.
Well, I mean, I think just being visible, people should know that. I'm a man of my word, and so I said I will continue to support this community, and that's why I'm here. And so being visible in the community, people should see that. I don't have to continue to say it.
Are you at all surprised, though, by the initial backlash? I mean, you know how emotional a time it was for the Charger fans, how long it will be for them to go ahead and come back. And you mentioned before it has to be organic. Are you surprised with the type of reaction that's followed?
Not really. I understand the disappointment that a lot of people have, and I have ties to the organization, and people are going to be upset about it. They want me to choose one way or the other, and like I said in the past, I can't do that. I'm a part of both San Diego as a community and the Chargers organization, and that's the way it will be. I mean, I'm going to move forward in thinking it like that.
I know Darren asked you that if they expect you to be like an ambassador towards the people in San Diego, and you said, no, that has to be organic. Do you expect at some point, though, that the Chargers organization will go ahead and reach out to the people in San Diego? And I don't mean you. I just mean, the team as a whole.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I think the reaction of people in San Diego, speaking quite honestly, is going to take some time. So there's hurt on both sides. I mean, people got to realize that. They think, that the organization and the Spanos family, like they're okay with just moving on and forgetting about San Diego. They're completely not okay with it. They are hurt by this too. And I've said in the past that I talked to Dean, and we had many of sit-downs about this right after it happened, and the man was tore up about it. He did not want to leave, and so it will take time, but my hopes is eventually that will happen.
Last year, I think you said the Raiders were the team to go ahead and beat in the AFC West. Who is? I know it's early on. We haven't seen anything from Mike Williams. Who's the early on favorite right now? And I know I get it. I'm asking you as the NFL Network analyst, not as a Chargers employee.
Well, see, here's the thing. Last year, if you remember, I also said Denver would take a step back,
right.
And they definitely did. I think this year Kansas City takes a step back. So I think you still got to put the Raiders up there at the top of the list because of just the talent that they have. A young nucleus of players that are growing together. That's scary. And so I think you go Raiders. And then, honestly, everybody else is right there. You just don't know. I mean, you look at what the Chargers did last year. They were in all those games, except one game when I was here at Kansas City, except for that game. But other than that, they were in every game, had a chance to win those games. So early on, I would say, the Raiders are the team that everyone is looking to beat.
Now, in a couple of months, you're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I know you talked about how important your offensive line was to you. Now, quick question. The Chargers made some changes on their O-line. Dunlap is gone, Orlando Franklin is gone. They drafted, Forrest Lamp and Dan Feeney. What do you like? Is this the way to go ahead and build an offensive line?
Well, without question. When you have a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, who's a great pocket passer, you have to protect him. Nothing good comes with Phillip being on the ground, and unfortunately, we've seen too much of that over the last few years. And I love getting Mike Williams with that first pick. You obviously add more talent at the wide receiver position, but then you solidify the offensive line. And don't forget about Russell Okung that they brought in. Just watching some, practice, I feel like they're already better.
How nervous are you for your Hall of Fame speech? How many times have you rewritten, rehearsed? Does it keep you up late at night?
I'm not nervous. I mean, no. I mean, I probably, maybe the day before, because it kind of becomes like game, preparing for a game. And so the day before, I would always get a little nervous, because you really start to vision what's going to happen. And so I'm sure that Friday night, as I get ready to go to sleep, I might get a little nervous. But, at that point, as they say, the hay is going to be in the barn, but to your point, I have been rehearsing it and working on delivery. And, you make little changes here and there, but for the most part, Marty, I mean, it's done. The speech is done.
How about Lorenzo Neal? You worried about him going off the cuff and getting a little bit crazy on that stage?
Well, I'm worried about him falling down, because that's what he's. Unfortunately, we always talk about that on the touchdown break and run. Yeah. He fell down, and so I just say, Lo, just don't fall down, buddy, please.
But if he is, your offensive line, those guys, I think they're all going to be there to go ahead and pick him right back up.
Absolutely. I'm sure they will be. That's what the offensive line is for. They truly are protectors.
LT, it is great to see you again. Thanks for being back here in San Diego.
Sure.